Well, the election's over, and it seems like half of you are super excited and half of you are not. I tend to be a person that likes to focus on the positive, so I just wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about tax-related things that I think are going to benefit us as taxpayers. Um, so one of the things that Trump wants to do is extend the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. So there's a bunch of tax provisions that were set to expire at the end of 2025. And he wants to extend those or make them permanent. Things like lower tax brackets for all of us, the higher standard deduction, child tax credit has been higher for quite some time, but that was set to go back down. So he wants to keep that where it's at, keep the estate tax exemption high. I believe it doubled with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. So that allows more wealth to pass from one generation to the other without owing additional taxes when that happens. Some of the benefits for businesses that were set to expire that he'd like to extend are the bonus depreciation, where you can write off all of a large asset in the year of purchase rather than having to spread it out over the life of the asset. Research and development expenses, he wants those to continue to be able to be 100% deductible rather than having to amortize those over amount of time, and keep the QBI deduction, which is for partnerships and sole proprietors. It enables them to deduct 20% of their income from income tax. So I think those have all been great things for us as taxpayers, and as a tax preparer. I've seen those things. I saw them go into effect. Those were promises that he made back in 2016 before he took office in 2017. He enacted those things. We've been taking advantage of them ever since. And now that he's back in office, he wants to extend those. Since he was able to implement the first time, I'm trusting that he's hopefully going to be able to fulfill his promises or whatever and make these things continue on. He has some new proposals too that I think are also beneficial, and I think that a lot of you would find beneficial as well. So if you're feeling down about him being elected, just this is my way of showing you the bright side. Let's look at the positive. He wants to eliminate tax on Social Security. A lot of people think that Social Security isn't taxable, and if you have no other income at all, it can be. But if your income, if you have other retirement income or investment income, or you're working, your Social Security can be up to 85% taxable. So he wants to eliminate that, which I think would be great. I don't think we should have to pay tax on money that we pretty much already paid in tax when we were paying in our Social Security and Medicare taxes through our working years. We should be able to take that tax-free. He also wants us to be able to deduct our auto loan interest. So that would be an itemized deduction similar to your mortgage interest. So that could benefit a lot of people as well. He wants to remove the $10,000 state and local income tax cap, which that was part of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. So he wants to extend a bunch of stuff from that, but get rid of this one particular thing. So right now, when you do itemize your deductions and you deduct things like your mortgage interest, your charitable contributions, state and local income taxes, those are capped at $10,000. So in states like Oregon, where we pay state tax of 8 to 9%, when we add together the state tax that we pay, plus our real estate taxes, plus any local taxes, if you live in Portland or Multnomah County, those can add up to a pretty substantial amount. But right now they're capped at 10,000, no matter how much you actually paid. So some people miss out on 40, 50, $60,000 in itemized deductions there with that cap. So by getting rid of that, a lot of people would be able to deduct more and pay less in tax. He also wants to lower the corporate tax rate to 15% for US made products. So great, a tax benefit for keeping your manufacturing here in the country. I think that's a good thing. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the corporate tax rate because I hear people complain a lot of times about how big corporations don't need tax cuts. They should be paying more. So I just kind of want to explain a little bit how corporations work. So there's different entity types, right? You can be a sole proprietorship all on your own. You can be an LLC, and if you're just a single member LLC, you're still taxed like you're a sole proprietorship. It's not any sort of separate business entity. As an LLC, you can elect with the IRS to be taxed as an S corporation. But an S corporation is similar to a partnership in that it's called what a flow-through entity. So the income from the business flows through to your personal return and you pay tax on that income at your personal income tax rate. So when you file a partnership tax return or an S corporation tax return, you're not actually paying any corporate tax there because the income, like I said, flows through to your personal return and that's where you're taxed on that income. Now, C corporations, they actually pay tax within the entity itself. And that's the corporate tax rate that they're usually talking about when they're talking about the tax code. So by lowering that, yes, the corporation itself is paying less tax, but the owners of the corporation, they're actually double taxed because they get taxed on that income within their corporation. And then in order to get the profits out of the corporation, they either need to take a salary or take a distribution, and those income amounts are then taxed at their personal income tax rate. So reducing the corporate rate isn't favoring wealthy people or favoring business owners. It's helping to stimulate our economy because if our businesses can pay less in tax, then they have more to hopefully reinvest in their local community, in hiring employees and all of those sort of things. So all of that said, I do definitely believe that our tax code favors business owners over W-2 employees. So if you've been thinking about branching out on your own and starting your own business and you have questions about how all of this would apply to you or what business structure would be best to start out as, that's one of my favorite things to talk about and advise on. And my advising sessions are discounted this time of year because I slow down a bit. So if you want to go online and schedule an advisory session to find out more about this information, how it might apply to you, how you can take full advantage of the tax code and save yourself money, I would love the opportunity to meet with you. So thanks for taking the time to watch. Cheer up if you're feeling down. It doesn't have to be all gloom and doom. There's bright side to everything, and I'm here to help you find it.